Happy Empowered Wednesday, friends. As always, on Wednesdays at 11:30 Eastern Time, we are talking to entrepreneurs all about bringing more balance, more harmony to our busy lives of entrepreneurship. And some of those that join us are business professionals. So we really try to instill this idea of bringing more of joy and happiness and balance in all that we do. And this is a weekly talk with various entrepreneurs. Some are friends, some are our clients, where we kind of pick their brain and see what are some strategies in their business that they are bringing to kind of achieve a better, not a perfect balance, but more of that harmony and happiness into their business and their life. And hello, everyone who already is joining us. And today we're talking with Sharon Summerfield. And I'm going to bring her in any second now. So hang on. Give me Sharon Summerfield. She is the founder of the Nourished Executive, and really her business, it's about working with leaders and teams, helping them prevent burnout. And so this is perfect person to have for this a wonderful topic, because I believe we're all striving to get more of that balance. So hello, Sharon. Can you see me?
I can. Good morning. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so very much for being here. And we're going to start with you introducing yourself and telling our audience a little bit about you. And then we'll go into kind of sharing some strategies and tips for better harmony and balance into our daily life, not just waiting for the weekend.
Lovely.
So thank you for being here.
I love it. You're singing from my song sheet. I'm Sharon Summerfield. I'm the founder of the Nourished Executive. I'm a well-being coach, a holistic nutritionist, and a certified smart growth advisor with Disruption Advisors. And I help leaders invest in their well-being with a holistic lens to prevent burnout. And prior to launching my business, I worked for many years as a project manager, executive assistant. And sadly, I burned out a few times. And one of the things we are not talking enough about is if you do not discover new rituals as you are recovering from burnout, and you return to the badge of busyness and start doing all these, getting so drawn into other things, you will burn out faster and harder. On average, it takes 2 years to recover from burnout. I know there's people out there who will challenge me on that, but though that's the overarching research and data. And we need to find a different way. Work-life balance isn't working. If it was, so many people wouldn't be burning out. What we need is greater harmony, where our professional lives do not come at the cost of living.
Thank you for sharing that. And this is why I wanted to have you here today, because you're perfect for this topic. Not only for you as a person, because you really try to embody that balance every single day. I always see your posts around being in nature, right? And bringing that, the everyday of the beauty around us, and taking that moment to pause so you can restart again. But also this is what your company does. So tell me, on the daily, what are some of those practices that you use every single day to bring a little bit of that harmony into your life?
So daily, when I wake up, I do a meditation, and often some of the words I come back to are, I have everything I need in this moment. So I begin my day that way, and I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker. So I have some version of rooibos tea because I don't do any caffeine, and try to build those pauses in, but really listen to my body. It's so easy to keep doing, but sometimes we just need to stop. And I've had days where, you know, this year I was plagued with a couple of really bad flu bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sometimes all I could do was, you know, do my morning meditation. I always read before I go to bed at night.
Mm-hmm.
Devices are not in my bedroom and haven't been for more than a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's even keeping his device out of the bedroom, which is a huge deal because he's a firefighter and on call, you know,
Yeah, all the
24/7.
time. Yeah.
So that's been a huge, you know, that's been a huge thing for him. We have a dog, so we like to take her for walks.
Mm-hmm.
I have a garden, and our roses are starting to go in full
Yes,
bloom. So,
I saw your photo. They're
well,
beautiful.
thank you. So one of the things I started doing last year is making rose oil. If it's good for Queen Cleopatra, we should each try it. Think about it.
Wow.
So it's another way to connect with
Mhm.
nature, and then I can savor that all year long.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And it's so true, especially with your oil, right? You can then enjoy the fruit of the labor. I my love of gardening, I think this is what we share and we found each other. It's funny how, right? Then business is so easy when you find your, your other soul people, whether it's the nature, whether it's the gardening. So, I'm crazy for lavender. So the other day I was already checking my lavender. Very soon it's ready for harvest, and I make the bath salts, and then I can enjoy, and my friends and our clients are also enjoying it, but really kind of prolonging the love of something in our life that we can enjoy later through the year. And thank you for sharing. And I think so many people, and again, we try to give that real advice. And what really hit me, what you were saying, even simple thing like not having a phone in your bedroom. I've seen, and I don't know. I follow a couple of like holistic alternative doctors, and they were actually saying about those dangers of EMF, especially when you're sleeping. So we try to now turn off Wi-Fi for the night and put our phones in air mode, and also not charge any phones near us because of the EMF and like the negative effects it has on our body, right? So that's something we changed. And also listening. Thank you for sharing, listening to your body, how important it is. So I'm not sure if you've seen. I am due to do a post, but we did Mud Girl run on
I
Sunday, and
did. Good for you.
yes, so it's a little challenging. It's there were some areas. I think on some it's looks worse than it is. Um, but because you're not using same parts of your body, like crawling through the mud under the net, right? I woke up with aches and aches and few bruises here and there. And normally I would start my day with my power morning routine, so I adjusted it, and I decided to really listen, to give myself a little bit of grace and slower pace to recover after the Mud Girl run, right? So yeah, it's so important to just listen. Our body knows, our mind knows what it wants, but I find sometimes we just run too fast, and
Yeah.
when we allow ourselves to give ourselves that moment to see what's needed in our life or in our business, we usually have those answers. So thank you for reminding us of that.
Another piece I do is I do an evening reflection. Most days, it depends on. I was in an accident 5.5 years ago where I injured my right hand, so my written
Sorry to
reflection has
hear
a
that.
lot to do with how my hand is doing. But I also think it's a really, really powerful tool
Mm.
to reflect on your day, your week. I also do an annual reflection. And sometimes we get caught in we're not making any progress. We feel like we're so far away from our goals. But when we actually start to reflect, we can actually see the small changes and the small steps that we're taking. because we're not going to climb the mountain in one day.
No, no, those reflective moments are so key, right? In knowing what needs our attention, on that smaller level, and I think we can catch it when we do it almost as a ritual, with whether those little micro moments every night, or I do a reflection weekly, and usually my Empowered Wednesday is for that, when I can kind of reflect and really ask myself what's working, whether it's in my business and in my life, and adjust, versus waking up 12 months later and seeing, holy crap, what happened, right?
Yeah.
How did I get here, both positive and negative? So to do that, and I know from business sense, you've adopted a nice new monthly rhythm, CEO Power Hour. So tell our audience what you learned from it.
What I like about your CEO Power Hour is that it meets us where we are, because there's a lot of these different power hours out there, and sometimes it feels like someone's commanding from on high, but that's not your approach. And so it always feels like you're meeting me where I am at, and you're giving me these bite-sized pieces that I can start sitting with, I can start reflecting on, I can start, okay, is this going to work for me right now? And so it's all these small little different ways that we can actually invest in ourselves and in our well-being. Because I think what we've seen, and I think what your CEO Power Hours, what's brilliant about them, is it becomes an investment in ourselves. And over the last, I want to say decade, or even more than that, it was like we were investing in so many other things other than ourselves, and it was costing us so much.
Yeah.
And I just saw the Village Clinic join, and Dr. Helly McPhee was one of those people that changed my life, actually. When really helped me when I was in a really bad spot. I was really burning out, and she was the one who said, stop, slow down.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to find those ways to do that. And I think that's one of the things that you do. You may not even realize you're doing it, but just the way you deliver it. I'm getting shivers talking
Thank you.
about
I'm
it.
getting shivers too. Thank you. It means a lot.
So, oh, thank you. Thank you. And it's always beautiful. And you create that space for people to come together and share. I think the last one, it was part of, one of the ladies had lost her voice. So it was, she was connecting with each of us who were there as well, in the way she could, and the moment that made sense for her. And I think that's what you do so well.
Aw. You're gonna make me start to cry. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much, because you know what? It's so true. We all are on that different path, different journey, um, and we learn differently. And sometimes, how, sometimes a certain strategy may resonate with someone, right? And sometimes, even if this person tries it, it's just not for them. It's not their way. So it's important to adapt a strategy and share different ideas and a process. And that's what I try to bring, because we're all different, right? We all have those different talents and different skills, and learn differently. Like, for example, today after this, I'm going to a client who she actually can't learn online. She just can't, how her brain works. So she needs that in person, holding her hand approach. So once you realize this, and it's right, because it's like sometimes I hear, oh my goodness, I can never learn this, or I can never do that. Yes, you can. You just need to adapt just a different way, just a different approach, and something that also resonates with their values and their way of being, right? It cannot be forced, because then it just doesn't feel authentic. And that's so big to me. And I put such importance on always showing up authentically, because we're all beautifully different, and we all have different talents, and our values need to match how we show up. And I find where there is usually um, the lack of willingness, or a lot of time people put those barriers up, is when, you know, the values, there is the misalignment where the values are not really matching their behaviors and actions. I remember when we were just starting our business, um, every business coach has a business coach, right? And we had a coach, and there was their way was this, and I'm like, that's not my way. I can't do that. And that didn't work out because they didn't meet me where I needed to be. It wasn't how I wanted to show up for my clients, or how I wanted to do sales, right? Because it wasn't authentic to me or my values. So yeah, no, thank you so very much for sharing that.
And I also think the values conversation is really, really important, because this is another reason people are struggling with burnout,
Yes.
is because, and I've been there, where
Mm-hmm.
you're part of organizations where there's a values disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to find a different way forward, I believe the foundational piece is to create boundaries in alignment with your values and purpose,
Yes.
and start having these values
Mm-hmm.
conversations. We are not meant to work with everyone. And with my recovery journey, that was
Yeah.
huge. The value with everyone I added to my team,
Yeah.
they had to be willing to work together. And we moved to Vancouver Island, and I wanted to add an additional physio into the mix. He was recommended, but he wasn't willing to actually be collaborative with the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
team. And I just shared, this isn't going to work. And so my value of connection and community and in
Yes.
integrity and excellence and harmony
Mm-hmm.
had to be part of all of it. And I
Yes.
think we need to be having these values conversations more
Yeah.
often.
Because, you know, the values, and this is why i I've been weaving in the values conversation and those values goals into the CEO Power Hour, because they are our guiding light. When we align with our values and we're reminded of it, because, you know, life happens, right? And every day happens so fast that we forget. So all we need to do is build those reminders, like the CEO Power Hour, where we track what matters, where we're focused, where we pause and really see what's working, what's not working, and bringing the values as part of it, because that's how we can then attract the right people into our lives, right partners, right collaborators, both like in business and personal life, right friendships, right clients, that doing business is pleasure. Usually, like, most of my clients are my friends,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like, how can you keep it even separate when you're in fully in your heart, you're showing up authentically with full integrity, and then you're finding out, oh my God, you know, the other person also loves roses and flowers and makes oils, and right, it's full of integrity. It's just easy. And when we step fully into our purpose and our mission, and are so beautifully aligned with those values, everything is in flow. Universe finally says, holy crap, that's it. This is it for you. And it's easy and it's flowing, and it doesn't almost feel like work. You're just here stepping fully into your purpose, and then you're being rewarded, right? It's like that ikigai Japanese concept around leveraging, knowing your passion, knowing like where your purpose at, and then having market pay you for your passions and your purpose. That's where that magic happens. So it's a beautiful concept. And this is where when we fully step into that purpose and we do what we love with people that we love and are aligned with the values, we live more fulfilling and those harmonious lives.
Because We can show up as ourselves. We
Yes.
don't have to armor up. We're not having to protect ourselves,
Yes.
and it's easier on our nervous
Yes.
system because we feel grounded, because we're not pretending. One of the phrases I cannot stand is fake it until you make it.
I
It's
know.
it's 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 just, if we're faking it, then we're not showing up as our authentic selves. And, you know, then we can't make those rich connections because
Yeah.
then we start to not trust. Because
Yes.
if we're armoring up, then who else is? So let's find those ways so we can, what do I need in this moment? I actually have this little thing on my corkboard in my office. What do I need in my moment,
Oh,
in this moment? But I also have another quote by Tara Moore: where we think we need more self-discipline, we usually need more self-love. So what does
oh, ooh, that's powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So it's like when we start actually paying attention to ourselves, discovering that heart-centered leadership that exists in all of us. And a leader is not someone with a fancy title.
No.
I've worked for a number of people who are in leadership roles who are not leaders. And there's worked with some fascinating people and have wonderful people in my life who may not have a leadership title, but they are beautiful heart-centered leaders.
Yeah.
That's what we need more of.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny. A long time ago, when I was still in corporate, like I was always, and I don't know, it was just like, I guess, my personal block that I had when I was thinking, oh, who is the leader? Even though I was a leader, I didn't see myself as a leader. I always thought, oh yeah, you have to be like general manager, right? Like the CEO, that's the leader. Now I know better, and how I see leaders are anyone who shows up authentically, who inspires others to action in that positive, mindful, right, um, right action forward to bettering, whether it's their life, to bettering their team's life, to bettering the world, right, as a whole, as a planet. So yeah, I no longer, and it's funny how we're programmed to think that one certain way. And I used to be intimidated even with the word leader. Now I see everyone can be a leader and is a leader if they're showing up and acting on the behaviors they want others to take, right? So they are the example, the real role model. So role models, so it's not just the words but really the action, and then others are inspired by his or her actions into moving into that progress, the action of progress, or progress of action.
And
Yeah.
and I just want to share a story.
Yeah.
At one point in my life, and this was a huge aha for me. It was also a very difficult experience to be at. I was working for a large firm, and I also was working on a large infrastructure project. And one environment where if you made a mistake, you were removed.
Mm-hmm.
At the project level, if you made a mistake, you were told what that mistake was, shown how to fix it, and then given the opportunity to fix it. So one was fostering psychological safety and learning and growth, and the other one wasn't. Was it an easy place to be at the same time with two polar opposite cultures? Definitely not. But that was where I first started learning about something different. But we had, there was a lot of people in big leadership roles at the project level, but they were all leaders, and it was all, how can we help? What do you need?
Yeah.
Or someone's spouse was having some medical issues, going, well, I need to be with my spouse, you know how to reach me if something happens.
Yeah.
And we need more of that. We need more of that because we need to be able to bring our full self to all we do. But if we have to, cut a part of ourselves off because it's not safe to show up that way, we're challenged. No
Yeah.
wonder we're dealing with so many health issues.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so important to be able then to create that supportive, safe environment that you're being seen and heard, so you can show up authentically and then not be afraid to share ideas, sometimes thinking, oh, it's a crazy idea, but maybe that's what's needed, right, to trigger that change for the better. So thank you for sharing that story, because there is such beauty when we all can see ourselves as leaders and just say in that moment, how can I help? How can I help? Because we're all humans, we all have, right, whether it's families or other relationships, and life is not a perfect linear line, right? It's kind of full of zigzags.
Yeah.
So just even knowing that someone asked that question, right,
Yeah.
there's so much power in just hearing, hey, oh my god, like that person, even though you may not need help, but it's just know that someone paused and offered up the help.
Well, and also, it's when we start seeing people show up in different ways, a simple question of, are you okay?
Yes. Yes.
This is what I'm noticing. This is what I'm seeing. Do I need to go for a walk? Let's connect.
Yes.
Maybe it's a Zoom call. I did this a lot when I was part of the HR Strategy Council, a group on LinkedIn during COVID. And you'd start seeing, it was a group of HR professionals that Deborah Nixon actually created because they didn't know how to navigate this new landscape.
Mhm.
And you'd see people showing up in different ways. So afterwards, I always sent a note to everybody that I see, individual notes. Nice to see you, I hope you're doing well. And if someone was showing up in a different way or wasn't participating in the same way they usually did, would just send a note, are you okay? And I
Mm.
can't tell you how many people said, thank you, actually I'm not.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going through, this is what I'm managing, but I'm finding my way. Thank you
Yeah.
for noticing. You
Yeah.
need to notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you can just follow up. Hey, right? When someone opens up, and not everyone will, but sometimes it's just about, extending that hand, that you could even have like a little resource or a little tool that you say, oh, you know what? I actually was dealing with something similar and this helped, right, whether it's a meditation or something a journaling, just you can offer up that little help. And sometimes, like, I find there is so much power, and sometimes we minimize, but there is so much power of just even bringing one simple different habit. So it doesn't have to be a huge extraordinary thing, but it could be an introduction of like a morning routine or something, a new strategy into the business, or a new practice that could be so simple but different, that someone else can see it like, oh my goodness, this is very helpful. So just by asking, are you okay, and having that conversation and then providing that resource or that hand, it really makes a difference. So thank you for that. So
It does.
Sharon, yeah. So I know we are at time, and I just wanted to ask you, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how can they take that next step with you?
They can reach out to me here on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Okay.
They can also send me an email at sharon@nourishedexecutive.ca. I try to be very responsive.
Okay.
And, if they're in the Qualicum Beach area on Vancouver Island, I'll be speaking at Better You on um, not next week. I think it's on the 25th of June. I'll be talking about the role of whole food and quality supplementation,
Okay.
managing pain and healing journeys.
Okay.
And I'll also be at the Chamber of Commerce trade show at the end of September in Nanaimo.
Okay. Thank you for that. So yeah, it seems you have lots of going on. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. And if anyone would love to join our next CEO Power Hour, reach out directly. We will restart them in September. And Sharon, I will see you in September. We are pausing for the summer because I believe summers are all about, recharging, reconnecting with yourself, really giving yourself that grace, moment of grace and moment of reflection, enjoying your family and friends. And we will all restart with all the practices back to schedule, back to routine in September. And thank you so much for being here, Sharon.
Oh, thank you so much, Isabella. It
Thank
was lovely. Always nice to see you.
Always
Spend time with you.
nice to see you as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another Mindful Entrepreneur Talks. And I wish everyone an empowered Wednesday full of health, love, and happiness. All the best. Mwah.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.